I don't think I've been pushed and challenged and grown and developed that much that I have in the 7 days, than in 7 months or even 7 years just being in England.
Welcome to the grand finale of my week-long trek in the Rhodope Mountains.
Today is my 5th day in the Rhodope Mountains.
And what a journey it has been.
There is so much that I could say, and I just don't even know where to begin.
Let's just say that it's been a jam-packed 5 days of disappointments, failures, beautiful scenery, magical moments, and even rescues.
We started off in town Smollen, that's where my guest house was, and I was staying for about a week. And then we trekked to our first hija, our first hut, which was Hija Berelik. Then we continued the trek to our next hut, which was Hija Lednicita. Then from Hija Lednicita, what we did is we continued the trek through village Mugla. Do you guys remember village Mugla, that beautiful village? So we went via village Mugla, and then we stayed at one of the most beautiful huts that I have stayed in, Jayersky Jezera. Today, from Jayersky Jezera, we're going to our next hija.
Today I'm off to Trigrad, another tiny mountain village, home to a population of only 600 people.
We're going to be trekking around 3 hours today. I am excited, but I feel a little bit sad to leave one of the most beautiful huts that I've stayed in. Jayersky Jezera, this hut, in my opinion, and from my experience, is really up there with Ivan Vazov, which was the other beautiful hut I stayed in Rila Mountains. So those two huts, Jayersky Jezera and Ivan Vazov, these are my #1 favorites right now. I'm currently all set, I'm packed and ready. I've planned my route, really studied the map like I always do, and this time I'm hoping that the signs follow my map, because sometimes the map and the signs have been different, but this time I'm hoping it is gonna go in sync, and I'm looking forward to going to the next location in the Rhodope Mountains. Then the plan is to continue on from here to a next town called Jagodina.
Jagodina is an even smaller village than Trigrad, home to a population of less than 500 people. Ignore me in the video whenever I call these places towns, because they're definitely not. They're tiny mountain villages. Jagodina village is where my week-long trek ends, and then I hitchhike my way back to the starting point, which is Smollen. The Rhodope Mountains gifted me a life-changing experience that I will treasure forever.
There is something about being out in the wild, wild wilderness, alone. Just you, your backpack, your footsteps, and your thoughts. And you just have to go through this journey. You've just got to see it through till the end. There's no going back, there's no quitting, simply because you just can't.
So, fellow adventurers, let's crack on with the journey, and if you'd like to be a part of more crazy stories, then make sure you hit that subscribe button.
I'm just getting to a point now, I've got such an itchy head because I haven't washed my hair for so long. I know you're probably thinking it's only been 5 days, but when you've been 5 days of trekking and an insane amount of sweat and grease, I know too much information, but this is life in the mountains. It all builds up, and you just feel really dirty. And those of you who watched my previous video will be saying, oh, but Asra, Jayersky Jezera had a shower. Yes, I know this hut has a shower, but because huts in the mountains usually don't have electricity, the water isn't warm enough for me to put it over my head. The last thing you want to do is get unwell in the mountains, because it will just ruin your entire trek and you are screwed. Because it's not like, oh, there's a pharmacy down the road, oh, there's a doctor down the road. Yeah, there's none of that. You're in the bloody mountains. So just be smart. It's better to be smart than to be clean. Time to say my last goodbye to my lovely bed, which I had an amazing sleep over the last 2 nights. And let's go and say goodbye to this incredible balcony. Wow, I will miss this. And the air is just so crisp and just so fresh. Look at Beiru down there. Hey Beiru. This guy is either running about or just conked out. Okay, goodbye. Let's grab our bag now. And time to go. Beiru. Işte mi lips fash Beiru?
Сега тук пътечка, малко стръмничко.
Да.
Моста и продължаваш нататък на завойчето.
Добре. Але червена, да?
Червена.
Червена. Благодаря много. Ще ми липсваш. Чао. До виждане. Beidou, are you coming with me? Come, Beidou. Ciao, Sophia. There is the hut up there, and Beidou is still with me. Are you taking me all the way to Trigrad? Are you going to be my guide for today? Oh, you've stopped now, haven't you? I don't like stinging nettles, especially when you're wearing shorts. Ow, 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 ow. My guide is back. I think we're switching roles as a guide. He guides and I guide. That's the right way, Beidou. Well done. This is what we're following. Czerwena, red. I've never had a dog as a guide before. This is quite an experience. I'm quite enjoying trekking with a dog, especially a dog like Beidou. Dawaj, dawaj, Beidou, dawaj. No go dobre. Oh my god, this dog is so bloody quick. I can't keep up with him. Beidou, pochivka. Here is another tip for traveling around Bulgaria, especially when you're trekking through the mountains. Learn Bulgarian, just learn Bulgarian. You don't have to be fluent, but you need enough to get by. You need enough to walk into a restaurant and ask for what you want, especially in the mountains, because these huts are run by elderly people. I mean, you just saw Sophia, right? Who do not speak a word of English. It was so lovely spending 2 days with Sophia. I mean, she didn't let me leave until I gave her my email address and my number, and we just had a really, really good couple of days together. It was only me and her in the hut. Here's the next hut we're going to. Hitch-Hiking Skali. It's so sweet, right? He was behind me and then I tripped and fell right on my damaged ankle, and I literally screamed out in pain, and he came running towards me and sat with me until I got back up again. Sophia was right. She told me I was gonna cross the bridge. And Beidou is still with me. As you can see now, we are walking on the road that the jeeps drive on. Wouldn't it be cool if another jeep drives past and I get to jump on again? I guess we just have to wait and see, right? Slightly worried now because Beidou is still with me, and I hope to God this guy doesn't follow me all the way to Trigrad. Okay, we are back in the forest. This forest is just never ending, and it's a serious uphill. Oh, we're coming out of the forest now and into the open. Oh my goodness, look at this. Oh, I love parts like this where it's all just open ground and you get panoramic, beautiful views. Why can't the whole route just be like this? I don't like going through the forest. Oh, it's so intimidating. But just like anything in life, you have to go through the dark to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. Beidou the dog is no longer with me. I met a couple of guys who were going towards Czerwena Jezero, where I've just come from. So I said to him, look, can I ask a favour? This dog is not mine. He's from the hut that you're going to, and he's following me, and I'm so worried that he's going to follow me all the way to Trigrad. So can you please take him with you? They said, yeah, no problem. So they went off the opposite direction. I'm going off my direction, and Beidou is still following me. He wouldn't follow them. So I said, okay, tell you what, let me pretend that I'm walking with you. So let me walk with you guys for a bit so Beidou thinks I'm going with you. And then when he goes ahead and isn't looking, then I'll turn back round and go back the way I was coming. So that's exactly what I had to do. But the trek just isn't the same without Beidou. I didn't get your name.
Lubo.
Lubo. Mnogo mi priятно, Lubo.
This is Anna. She speaks Russian, English.
Russian and English and French. Wow.
Then next girl is my sunshine, my darling.
Sunshine darling.
Yeah.
Then we'll call you Sunshine then. That's a nice name.
Sunshine is the last one.
I'm leading the horses.
You're hot now?
This is why you should walk through the mountains, not ride.
Yeah.
It's like extra responsibility.
Yeah,
Now you have to look
that's why
after
I'm here.
yourself
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the horses. It's double work.
Of course, yeah.
This guy over here wants to eat my bag.
You want to? No, I don't.
That's it, eat the tomato. Hey, look at this. I believe that is the town of Trigrad. We are currently only half an hour away from Hitch-Hiking Skali, so my Hitch must be down there somewhere. Don't you think it just looks so beautiful? I just can't stop taking photos and videos as I'm walking down. Ladies and gents, my feet have officially touched the ground.
of town Trigrad. We've made it, I'm here. Dude, I'm just in like some broken down kind of shack area. And this is it, we are exiting through this bridge. Okay, now it's official, it's official. I'm on the road, I'm in Trigrad. We did it, lads. There we go. There is Hitch-Hiking Skali.
I've just checked into Hitch number 4. It's nothing like Cherski Ozera. Simple 2 beds and the bathroom. I do have my own bathroom. This is always the most anticipated bit, right? No shower, just a simple sink and toilet. But I have a balcony. Nothing like Cherski Ozera, but hey, I'll take you outside. This is my view. But I'm not going to complain because I have come from an absolutely incredible hut. How is it that a hut in the middle of nowhere on a much higher altitude, Cherski Ozera, has a shower, but this one doesn't? I guess that is just the mountain trekking life here. You just don't know what to expect until you just turn up and it happens. Okay, I've left my hut and I've walked up the road to come into the town. Look at all these residential houses. From here you can see that we are still pretty high up in these Rhodope mountains. But these guys have built a life here, built a town. Unbelievable. Look at this little doggy. Hey doggy. Zdravejte. Assalamu alaikum. Arfe? Feme. Tisi na kamera. Skazi salamu alaikum.
Salam alaikum.
Merci.
Как се казваш? Как име? Твое име как?
Асра. Аз съм от Англия, родителите ми са пакистанци. А ти? Сестра?
Нямам сестра. Имам 2 брата, обаче един е почина, сега само един остана сестра. Ама иначе ти на колко си години? Аз съм на 75 години.
Триград много красиво.
Красиво ли? Хареса
Да, красиво.
Добре, добре.
Аз пътувам Смолен, Хижа Перелик,
Да.
Хижа Перелик, Хижа Ледницата, Хижа Ледницата, Хижа Cherski Ozera, Хижа Cherski Ozera, Хижа Триградски скали.
И все пеша. Ти ходиш.
Да, да, да.
Машал.
Самичка.
Не те ли е страх? Мечки.
Nem приятно.
Бай-бай.
Не, bye-bye. Hello.
Hello.
Bye-bye. Английски. Довиждане.
Довиждане.
Hello. Здрасти.
Hello.
Hello. Машаллах. Много добре английски. Изглеждаш страхотна на камерата.
Да.
Много красиво, много красиво.
Но сме убави да не оплашиме, хайдеш па им там да ми показваш.
Арфе, Фейме, довиждане до утре. Да?
До утре.
Салам алейкум. That was seriously so cool, hanging out with Turkish, Bulgarian locals in a mountain village. These guys don't speak a word of English, right? I am trying my hardest here, man. I hope you guys are impressed with the fact that I'm trying. Bulgarian is a very, very hard language, man. This town is full of Muslims. I'm literally walking the streets and they're all sitting outside on their porches and I'm just walking past going Salamu alaikum, Salamu alaikum, and they're all responding. It's so great. Greeting Muslims, walking the streets in a mountain village. Never would have imagined that. This would be happening in my life. It's just a really surreal experience, seriously. People always ask me, oh Asra, because you're not showering when mountain trekking, how do you actually stay clean? Simple answer, you don't. But you can try and make yourself a little bit more sanitary through wet wipes. So I use wet wipes for my body and I use talcum powder or dry shampoo for my hair. So every night before I sleep, I wipe my entire body with these wet wipes. This one's quite cool because it has foam in it. But anyway, I'm going to call it a night now. Tomorrow's going to be very, very exciting. We're off to see 2 caves tomorrow. Likinosh, day 6 in the mountains.
It's crazy when you think about it, right? That it's taken me 6 days of trekking to get to where I am right now from where I started. But wow, I look back at the 6 days and it just feels like I've been on this journey for weeks. And you guys following this series, you probably feel like you've been on this journey with me for weeks. I saw a quote this morning when I woke up, something I really needed to see today. The timing could not have been better. If at some point in your travels, you're not lost, scared, or wondering why you left the comforts of home, you're not doing it right.
Because there's so many Muslims, I mean, I met so many Muslims yesterday, I knew that there would be a mosque here somewhere, and look at what I've just found. There is the local mosque, and then right next to it, bam, you have a church. Look how close by they are. It was one of the many things that fascinated me about Bulgaria. Their mixture of Orthodox Christians and Muslims living side by side, even in tiny mountain villages such as village Mugla that we saw on day 3. The mosque in village Mugla was closed, so I was ecstatic to find that the one here in Trigrad was open, and the locals very lovingly welcomed me in. Shukran, oh subhanallah. This is so cool. I'm going in my first ever minaret. Dobre. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Just look up. Look up. It's so narrow and so steep now. Oh. Whoa. Oh my gosh, guys. We are in the minaret. The first minaret I went to was in Cairo, Egypt, if you remember. And now, the second minaret I've been in is in the mountain masjid. As you can see here, I'm not in the most I'm just kind of like balancing right now. Not in the most comfortable of positions, but it's not every day that you get to go to a minaret of a mountain masjid, right? Well, look, you can see the church from here as well. Whoa, this is the highest I can go. So now I've got to go back down. See you at the bottom. So I'm hanging out with some locals at the masjid. This is the imam.
My name is Irai.
Irai is Turkish Bulgarian. Tefik, Bulgarin nisida. Sina camera. Gazi assalamu alaikum. MashaAllah. Как се казваш? Rehan. Ayhan. Много ми приятно, Ayhan. We have another one. Assalamu alaikum.
Abu Salih.
I've just been given a present over here. I will take this back to England and remember him. They're still praying, so I'm leaving now. I'm going to leave them to it. But they were so sweet, right? They gifted me with a tasbih, so I have a Trigrad tasbih, and they gifted me with Rhodope mountain water. What a beautiful experience. So I'm with Veronica over here, who works in this museum. On the wall, it's got written, what do you do when you see a bear? And there's 3 rules, right, Veronica? And what is number 1?
To stay calm.
Number 2, you told me, is assess the situation.
Yeah.
Is the bear angry? Is it scared? Is it hungry? If it's hungry, you're screwed. Last but not least, Veronica?
Don't run.
Do not run. I was told play dead. You see a bear, you play dead.
Yeah.
If you run, the bear will run after you, isn't it, Veronica? And the bear is a lot stronger, a lot faster than you, so you are dead. The Rhodope mountains are full of Bulgarian bears, so be careful of bears. I've now come to Diavolsko Garla, which translates into English to Devil's Throat Cave. I've put my jacket on because I've been told it's 8 degrees inside. The Devil's Throat Cave earned its name from its spectacular shape, resembling a devil's head with a waterfall rushing down its throat. I've just been hit by this coldness. It's so hot outside and now it's getting cold. During the Ottoman Empire, the cave was known as the Terrible Judge, into which thieves and murderers would be thrown in without trial. The mysterious tunnels lead you down to the main part of the cave, the Roaring Horn.
This is the biggest underwater hall in Bulgaria, so huge that the St. Alexandru Nevsky Cathedral that I showed you in Sofia City can fit into it.
You can hear the waterfall from here, it's so powerful.
The cave is believed to belong to Hades, who is god of the dead and king of the underworld. It was here in this kingdom of the underworld that Orpheus descended, hoping to bring back to life his ladylove, Eurydice. Hades agreed on one condition, that Orpheus never turned back to look at her until they had both fully left the underworld. However, as soon as Orpheus could no longer hear the footsteps of Eurydice, he turned back to look for her, and that is when she disappeared and he lost her for good. The gushing river roaring from underground is in fact waters of the entire river Trigradska, which comes from neighbouring Greece. It passes through village Trigrad and thunders down into the Devil's Throat. The river holds such mystery as no one yet has been able to trace its course underground. Attempts have been made to track the current of the water using colours, but these colours resurface a whole 2 hours later. So where the water flows in that time, only God knows. Now, to resurface from the abyss, you have to climb a steep metal ladder with 301 slippery rungs.
I don't know if you can tell how flippin' steep these stairs are. This is unreal. And they're so muddy and so slippy. My trainers are soaked.
What's incredible is as you climb higher and higher, you start to see and understand just how mammoth this cave is.
Right, we are in Trigrad and the plan is to get to Jagodina village, and that is a 2.5 hour trek. Time to hitchhike. I don't know whether to call this a cave road or a mountain road. Oh, look how cool that cave tunnel looks. I don't plan on walking the 2.5 hours to Jagodina village, so you must pray for me that I'm able to hitch a ride. Honestly, it really hurts your heart when you stand here like this with your thumb out and the cars just drive past you. Like, it's just heartbreaking. It really hurts your ego, man, I'll tell you that. But just like anything in life, you keep going till you hit the jackpot. But it is a beautiful walk, I'll tell you that. Oh, I can hear a car. I just got rejected by 6 cars in a row. 6 cars, bro, flipping heck. My heart is in pieces. Oh yes, my first hitchhike. Now I'm only 20-minute drive away from Jagodina, let's go. I'm about to walk through my second tunnel and this road is completely empty. Come on cars, where are you, man? This is so weird to be walking through a tunnel that cars drive through, because I always drive through tunnels and now I'm walking through one. This is so weird. Къде отиваш? Ягодина?
Ягодина.
Ти си на камера. Кази здрасти. Здрасти. Благодаря много. Ciao. Ciao. I'm so freaking happy it took just 2 hitchhikes. Now if I walked, it's a total of 4 hours. It's not 2.5, it's a total of 4 hours. I've just come to a random hotel and they're completely full, so they're finding out which guest house is empty for tonight for me.
That's the man.
Merci.
You pay to him.
Okay, and he will take me to the guest house.
Yeah, but they don't speak English.
No problem. I'll speak a bit of Bulgarian.
Okay.
Здравейте. I've been checked into a random guest house. This is like the most luxury I have received in the 6 days that I've been trekking. Tomorrow it will officially be 1 week that I have spent in the mountains. Wow, that's the longest amount of time I've spent in the mountains. And today I can have a shower. I forgot to tell you all that today is the 6th of September. 6th of September in Bulgaria is Unification Day. Unification Day is when Bulgaria and Eastern Rumelia were unified. So this whole weekend, I mean today is Friday, up till Monday it will be bank holiday here in Bulgaria and everyone is celebrating. So right now in the village of Jagodina, I am walking up this hill with a bloody damaged ankle to go to the festival. Okay guys, I'm so excited. Can you hear that? If I'm correct, I believe that is traditional Rhodope pipes. The pipes that you only find in the Rhodope mountains.
crazy is that? Look at the chances, right, that the second guy that I hitchhiked with all the way to Jagodina town, he turned out to be the regional governor of the entire Rhodope Mountains. Like what? He's from Smolensk, but him and his wife have travelled all the way from Smolensk to Jagodina today for this festival. It was so funny, right, because as he was walking up on stage with the group, I was looking at him thinking, yo, this guy looks so familiar. Where do I know him from? And then it clicked, I was like, shit, that's the guy I hitchhiked with. And that guy who gave me a ride turns out to be the regional governor of the Rhodope Mountains. That is quite cool. But I'm gonna call it a night now. I'm gonna head back, get some kip, and I shall see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is gonna be a very, very exciting day. Do widzenia do утра. Likinost! Day 7 in the Rhodope Mountains. I cannot believe it's been 1 week of trekking, hiking, climbing, hitchhiking. Make sure you watch all my previous videos to see how the whole trek has been. This has been one incredible journey. And the most incredible part of it all is that I took a shower yesterday. Do I look any different to you guys? I swear to God, after I took a shower and I washed my hair, I felt like a bloody supermodel. But this is the cleanest I've felt in a week, even though I put the same dirty clothes back on. Ah, dobro utro. I'm going. Jagodina Hotel, da? Yeah. Welcome to the tiny mountain village of Jagodina. Dobro utro. Oh, I love this early morning, fresh mountain crisp air. Do you know, I always put a cap on to protect me from the sun and just shade me. Because I washed my hair, I don't want to put anything on my hair just yet. We're going on a jeep. Merci. Stojen, къде отиваш сега? Игалай?
Да.
Да. За колко време ще стигна?
После 30 минути.
And we were off, a line of jeeps carrying excited tourists up to peak Eagle's Eye. This was my first ever experience of being in a jeep, zigzagging my way up through the mountains. I had never driven on terrain so harsh and wild. There wasn't a second that we were able to sit still on this roller coaster ride. I was in absolute awe of the driver's skill set, being able to navigate up steep hills and rocky and uneven roads. As we drove higher, the views became more beautiful as we waved village Jagodina goodbye, watching it become smaller and smaller in the distance. And after the wildest half-an-hour drive of my life, we had arrived at Eagle's Eye. I saw a lady with a Bulgarian flag, so I asked her, can I borrow it for the photo? She's so scared. Unfortunately, the sun is in the completely wrong place, so I can't show you the views as well as I could on camera. Right, that town right there is Jagodina, where we've just come from, and you're gonna see the masjid. Let me try my best to show you on this camera. Now that I'd soaked in the stunning views, it was time to leave and head off to the next destination. Jagodina Cave is the pearl of the cave world of Bulgaria. Rusko, ti si na kamera. Gazi, zdrasti! Hello! It is the longest cave in the Rhodope Mountains, holding 3 floors. And its many abysses and labyrinth tunnels also make it one of Bulgaria's deepest grottos. I'm tiny and I'm having to crouch. I felt like I had escaped into another world as we explored the fascinating tunnels, getting deeper and deeper, unraveling the depths of the cave's mystery. We oohed and ahed at the mesmerising curtain-like rock formations, some of which appeared like layers of profiteroles or long icicles. The natural design of Jagodina Cave is so striking that there's even a ritual hall where civil marriages are performed. Rusko over here, who I met on the Jeep, okay? He's just given me a podarek, a present. So because he's in the military, he's given me a t-shirt that I put on now, and he's given me something else. I'm in the car now with Rusko, Diana, and Rumiana. Gazi, zdrasti! This amazing
family is driving me some of the way back because I'm on my way to Smolin, but they're going to drop me off at another town called Deshen, and I can make my way from there. Благодаря много.
When it was time for my second hitch, Rusko was so concerned for me to jump into a random car that he stopped a car for me and didn't let me get in until he had had a conversation with the driver himself.
Gazi, oh, Gazi, zdrasti.
Hello, hello.
Ciao, aunties. Ciao. Second hitchhike for the day done. Hey folks, I'm back to civilization. I made it back to Smolin, can you believe it? From town Jagodina to Smolin, and that's 2 hours driving. The last car that just dropped me off here, the couple, they were so lovely. They stopped off for lunch in a tiny little village town called Shakalaka Loka. But what a name, right? And they were so sweet that they even got me my lunch and they wouldn't let me pay.
And then of course it was time to return to my Bulgarian mother and catch her up with my past week.
Hey Michael! Michael! Приятно ми е да се видим отново. Как си? Good to see you again. It was so good. Wow, now where do I start? I mean, what I saw and felt and experienced, how much I've grown and how much I've had to grow, how much I've developed and how much I've had to develop. The amount that I was pushed, challenged in this past 7-day journey. There is just something about being out in the wild wilderness, especially mountains as wild as the Rhodope mountains, and just you, your backpack, your footsteps, your thoughts, and you just have to see this journey through. You have got to have this bulletproof mindset that you will see this journey through till the end. I had to very quickly learn how to physically and mentally pick myself up when I'm exhausted, when I'm losing hope, when my confidence is dropping, when I'm being overwhelmed with fear, because the only person to talk to me is myself, and the only person I'm talking to is myself. So what's going on in here is extremely powerful. It will either make me or break me. So I had to learn very, very quickly how to feed my mind the right words, because whatever you plant in here, it will grow. Whether it's an apple tree or whether it's a weed, whatever you plant and you nurture and you feed and you feed and you feed, it will grow. Sometimes 10 hours I would be completely alone. And now it's getting to a point that I'm racing against daylight. So not only am I losing hope, I'm also losing daylight. And there is something so intimidating about being lost, not just in a mountain, but in a mountain forest. I've never in my life felt so small and so insignificant the way I did when I was lost in a mountain forest alone. And on top of that, you just know that there may be bears and wolves around any corner just watching you. And never in my life had I thought that I'll be climbing mountains and my trek would include going from mountain village to mountain village to mountain village. That was just such a surreal experience, and it's an experience that you only get in countries like Bulgaria. And I really hope that you do watch every video of my mountain trek journey, because it's something so personal and close to me, and I learned so much from it, and I really hope you do too. But looking back, so many things went wrong and so many things went right, and I wouldn't change any of it. I cannot wait to do more mountain ranges of the world. I cannot wait to start doing mountains that are even higher altitude and more challenging. And for those of you who don't climb mountains but maybe are considering it, maybe on the edge, just do it. Because in the end, you won't remember the time that you spent working in the office or mowing your lawn. Climb that goddamn mountain. God, I've never actually felt so alone in my life. Oh God, that branch broke. Osman Evo, he's a photographer, look at that. We're gonna take a family photo.
No zdravie. Guess what? I'm standing outside Hut Perry.
I love hitchhiking because you meet amazing people like Viola over here.
Hi. Hi, hi, hi. Woohoo.
The wife is Turkish and the husband is Bulgarian, but he converted to Islam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Village Googler just made the last 2 days of disappointment, of heartaches, of things gone wrong, all so worth it. Look behind me. Can you see a car coming? Oh, I don't think I can hitchhike, man. I think they're completely full.
These amazing people let me jump in.
Oh. That is a beautiful, sexy thing right there. No hole in the ground.
Oh, and then the next one. Oh, this sound was of a pack of wolves deep in the mountain forest.
Wow, Sophia, we've made it to Peak Goruboden.